أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سدد لساني نوير جناني صفي أماني وزد برائي. Viewers of Echo from Touba, welcome again to the program. So delighted to have you here today talking about important topic, inshallah, Junnatun liman nazamuhu, paradise for those who seek it. And you know, in relation with the order we have from the Sheikh to help the population of Touba, inshallah. After we're going to talk about different topics, subject on education. We're going to come back to a lecture that was done by Sheikh, inshallah, Khadim Mbake, son of SERIGNE, well, of Darul Khudus, inshallah. We have two videos of the Sheikh, inshallah, son of SERIGNE Mbake Sohnalo, inshallah, who gave an answer or a rad to an Arab guy who said some abomination about our order, this particular Muridiya. But first, long life to our Sheikh, Sheikh Muntakha. May Allah help him all the way with all the work he's having, all the, you know, the building, the university he's building, the Dara of Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba, inshallah. And we're going to come back also to that. Long life also to my Sheikh, Sheikh Murtada of Sheikh Abdul Ahad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a good health and help him all the way through, inshallah. Again, today we talk about Junnatun liman nazamuhu. The Sheikh, you know, as you know, it's been a flooding in Touba after this very heavy rainy season. And on top of that, with what we call climate change, right? Things are happening all over the world. You've seen obviously what happened in Spain. Over 200 people died after the heavy flooding they had over in Spain. Touba was not, you know, an exception. Recently we had the water table that rose up a little bit, and many neighborhoods in Touba were completely flooded. And the quick reaction of the Sheikh, what happened was he called three organizations of Touba. These organizations been very active. First, Hizb Tarqiyyah with my brother Serigne Youssou Diop was called to give his help, along with our Sheikh of Touba, Jakanam Serigne Habibu Mbake, but also the mayor of Touba, Serigne Abdul Ahad. All these groups came over with joint efforts to help the community. He didn't stop there. The Sheikh gave out over 200 millions first to you know, money to put in the bucket for those people that were hit by the sinister. We kind of took a number of those families and were relocated in different areas of Touba. So big help, huge help was you know, on the way from the Sheikh, but also from government, but most of it from these two organizations I've mentioned right now, meaning Brother Youssou Diop, Touba Jakanam, and the mayor of Touba. So if you feel like helping, also you can send your money through all these money you know, channels like Wave, not to name them, and Orange Money. Those guys, they will receive that, you know, meaning Junnatun liman nazamuhu, that means paradise for those who seek it. And it's amazing to recall the actions of the Sheikh. May Allah give him a long life, Sheikh Muntakha. From the beginning, he stood up, gave all this money, but he didn't stop there. He gave another 361 millions. Again, for what? To build actually some housings for those people that were hardly hit by the flooding. And he said it's going to be 666 houses from that lot that will be given to the guys, the Murids of the US and Canada. So those guys are have the responsibility and the order, the legal of the Sheikh to build those 666 houses for the sinisters. It's a beautiful number. As you know, the numerical value of the name, the Zat, Allah, is 66. So lots of efforts done by Sheikh Muntaqa. And to come back to his realizations, first when he came to the Caliphate, the first thing he said was, I love knowledge. And because of knowledge, earlier I engaged myself in researches. That's what he said on his very first speech. And because he said, I never liked to do anything without knowing the core of that endeavor. So that is the reason why I went to do some searching, to do some inquiry on knowledge first. He said, I started with Sharia, and I went on along to learn every books of Sharia. But the thing is, after I spent time learning Sharia, I've noticed that people haven't, get on the path yet. They haven't reached as-sirat al-mustaqim. So there was like, stop, there's a problem here. Many books of Sharia have been written and still people are not doing the right thing. And he said, I engaged then I went on, learn aqiqah, learn behaviors. And he said, even Mam Sheikh Ibrahim Fall, I studied who Sheikh Ibrahim Fall was. And then I understood after that all the knowledge didn't come down. There's still knowledge that's being held up in the tablet, in Lawhul Mahfuz. That's why, and he said, and when I understood that, I engaged myself in working for Sheikh Al-Khadim. And I went in that direction until I have no envy for anyone working for Serigne Touba. And he said on these particular beautiful words and all of Kudem, Madem, Kudemul, Madem. So if you engage, I'm engaged working for Serigne Touba. If you're not, it's going to be on your side. But myself, I'm engaged in Serigne Touba. What a word of encouragement, of something that we can mirror, a lens for ourselves to copy from that. That's how he started. And the first speech he made, I think that speech should be written, and every murid should really learn the first speech of Sheikh Muntaqa, how that speech was very strong in terms of how a murid should really engage in the path of Allah, in the path of Sufism, but in the path of khidmah, the work of Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba. And after that, there's another speech he said, for those who are murid, I will give them an advice. And he said, well, I will suggest them to go have knowledge first, pursue knowledge. And when they have knowledge, they're gonna come back and learn the Qasidas of Serigne Touba. When he said knowledge, of course, if you want to understand the language of the Quran, we're gonna have to learn Arabic. So he said, if you Arabic and have knowledge, because wattaqullah wa yu'allimukumullah. But taqwa is the foundation of for the seekers of knowledge. So if you do that, inshallah, Allah will help you, will give you hikmah. فَمَنْ يُؤْتِيَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ غَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. And then this is the only way we can grasp the what do you call them again? The messages of Serigne Touba, and then dare to go around and speak about it. But if you don't learn this type of knowledge, Sharia and Haqiqah, and understand the fundamentals, the foundation of this deen, we should not pretend really to go around and teach the message of Serigne Touba, because it's going to, if you do that, it's going to be collateral damages, like a video we're going to show you later on. One guy who said some negative stuff about Serigne Touba. So Serigne Muntaqa, he started a long time ago, even at the beginning, before he was caliph. I remember Serigne Daga Diop, may Allah have mercy on him. He said one day he went to visit Serigne Cheikh Fall Baye Gor, Serigne Cheikh Fall Baye Gor, who was the father of Cheikh Ndigal Fall, who, you know, Sëñ Muntaxa paid him a visit. He bought a sheep. He did the sheep by himself, meaning, you know, prepared the sheep, prepared the food by himself, and brought it to Sheikh Muntaxa. And one of his disciples told him, listen, I know you're the disciple of Sheikh Gaynde Fatma. Sheikh Gaynde Fatma been around, but I've never seen you doing what you're doing right now for Sheikh Muntaxa. He said, well, when he becomes what he is today, people will witness the type of person Sëñ Muntaxa is. They're going to understand that this person, or this caliph, this man is just a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the mu'jiza of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right here in the path of Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba. Remember COVID? When COVID knocks Africa, you know, people were giving some predictions that was outstanding, outrageous in a certain degree, saying Africans will die like flies, you know, and everybody was scared. People like staying home, you know, all region departments were shut down, mosques were closed. They closed the Mosque of Medina, they closed the, you know, the holy land of Mecca. And what this Sëñ Muntaxa said, we cannot close Touba, because if you have, I believe, 11 persons, you can pray Juma. And in this particular mosque, there's 28 people reciting every single day 4 mushafs of the Quran. There's a 28 in the morning reciting, what you call them again, the mushaf in the morning, in Zohar time, in Asr time, and in Maghrib time. And on Friday afternoon, recited 7 times. So that's about 28 mushafs recited inside every single mosque that Sheikh Al-Khadim, you know, built on this planet. And that started ever since he was in Mauritania. That's how we implemented that ritual of 28 mushafs recited inside the mosque. And what's beautiful, what the Sheikh said, is the day he asked people to do it, he said, well, if people stop reciting these mushafs for Allah, it's going to be, you know, the sky and the earth will collapse. He said that to the murids that were doing this wonderful task. And when he was in Jurbel, anytime he said, call my family, he meant those people reciting the 28 mushafs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you still visit Jurbel, you're going to find, inshallah, that particular you know, tent where they used to recite it, still available. People are doing it every single day in that esplanade of Jurbel. If you just follow us, thank you for following Echo from Touba. This is your program, Echo from Touba. Every Sunday, by the way, Sunday 5:30. It's going to be a rerun on next Sunday, and we're going to upload these videos on YouTube, you know, Instagram, and all TikTok, and all these available platforms. And if you're visiting also Senegal, feel free to contact me, inshallah. If you have anything you want to share in this community, in our community, meaning in the Muridia, you want to share in politics, you want to share in economy, you name them, that's going to be profitable to our community, you welcome in the program. A message over there. So in terms of education, how much the Sheikh said about education, we're going to come to the first video of Sheikh Khadim Mbacke, son of SERIGNE Mbacke Sokhna Lo, how he exhorted a school in Khudus, and to tell them, along with the message of Sëñ Muntaxa, how education is so important. So let's listen first to the brother, Sheikh Khadim Mbacke of Sheikh Mbacke Sokhna Lo. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hi everybody. So I want to be long. I will be very short. I want to give you some advices on 2 points. At first, I want you to know that the studies are very important. The studies allow you to build your future, allow you to build yourself, allow you to be in the future very important personalities. So if you want to succeed in your studies, you have to make efforts, many efforts. Know that the studies allows you to get knowledge, and knowledge is considered as a light that illuminates your way in your life. So the importance of studies, you must know it. I think if you understand it, you will do many efforts to succeed in your studies. The second point is to make you know that you are Muslim. How high your study level, wherever you will be tomorrow, know that you are Muslim. Know that you are Murids. I mean, you are disciples of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. So you have no right to get out the right path. You must be always on the right path. That's what I wanted to say. I don't want to be long because we don't have time. Maybe we will have other opportunities to develop these points somewhere else, inshallah ta'ala. xam naa dama koy wax ci wolof tuuti ndax xëy na li may wax am na importance tuuti mooy dama leen di soññ ci njàng mi rek ngeen xam ne jàng moo leen di tabax yéen jàng mooy tabax seen avenir ëllëg comme ni ko Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba di waxee xam-xam ab làmp la boo xam ne moo lay niital fi ngay jaar boo amee xam-xam di nga xam fi nga teg sa tànk kon ginnaaw loolu ma di leen soññ ci ngeen xam ne fu ngeen mën a nekk ak nu seen xam-xam toll lu ngeen kawe kawe xam leen ne ay jullit ngeen ay doomi jullit ngeen.
So much the control room with this wonderful exhortation from Sheikh Khadim, who's just a wonderful human being, doing a beautiful work, son of Sheikh, you know, MashaAllah, listening to his videos, his salawats, he gives out salawat ala nabi, and many brother, I think one day we're going to come to Taif and have an interview if you give us the opportunity to just do that. We just appreciate your work, inshallah. Talking about this knowledge, there's another video of the Sayyid Khadim. We're going to also show you guys about an answer or a rad in Arabic of someone. When we talk about knowledge, most of the time it's about, you know, conveying the messages of Sayyid Touba. Sometimes authorize people to really talk about the message itself, because there's a lot of, you know, TV shows, a lot of people who kind of, because Sayyid Touba is like a, you know, anytime you talk about Sayyid Touba, you know, money will flow because people love Sayyid Touba. They want to hear good stories about Sayyid Touba. So if you get pumped up, you might, you know, say something that's, you know, that's going to echo all over the world, and people are going to blame the Muridiya, and Muridiya has nothing to do with it. And this is the person who said some, you know, really bad stuff about the Sheikh. He didn't understand that, because he talked about Sheikh Abdul Ahad, the third caliph of Sheikh Al Khadim. Sheikh Abdul Ahad, I mean, the Abd of one. That goes. It's going to be a contradiction of what this man will say, inshallah. So we're going to listen to that. Let's go to the second video, and then we'll listen first to what the guy has to say, and we come back for to extrapolate on that, inshallah. Let's play the second video.
Story that I heard. Wallahi, I feel ashamed to say it. There's a very strong student of knowledge that Ibn Baz rahimahullah ta'ala, he appointed to give da'wah in Africa. And this sheikh is still alive, hafidhahullah ta'ala. He's been giving da'wah in Africa for around 32 years now. The whole of Africa, 32 years. And that's what Ibn Baz rahimahullah ta'ala would do. He would take graduates from the Islamic University of Medina, send them out to different countries. Post them, you do this, give da'wah. So this sheikh is still giving da'wah. He mentioned the story. And he says, Wallahi, I have the recording of this person with me. He said in Senegal, there is a group of the Sufiya. They are called the Tariqa al-Muridiyya, the path of the Muridiyya. It's a group in Senegal. He said, and this group has a founder, and the name of the founder is something along the lines of Ahmed Bamba, something like that, I think, Bamba. He said, and the Ahmed Bamba, the founder, he's dead. There's a second person in charge, he died, and there's a third person who's running the Tariqa al-Muridiyya. He said in their khutbah, one of the people from the Sunnah, they were there, he heard it with his own ears. And he has a recording from it. And the Shaykh said, Wallahi, if you brothers want it, I can give you the recording as well. He said, this person, he says that this person, he said, our teacher, our founder, Ahmed Bamba, is the one who created Allah. Believe it? And he said, except he didn't tell Allah that he created him. He told Allah not to tell the people that Ahmed Bamba created him. Allah understand.
أعوذ بالله بسم الله إن ولي الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. My fellow brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I would like to edify briefly a preacher that I saw in videos published on the internet on a serious error that he made by saying that he was told that one of the religious guides of the Tariqa al-Muridiyya said in one of his khutbah that Shaykh Ahmad Bamba had created God. Subhanallah. This is a very, very serious accusation. My brother in Islam, what I want to make you know at first is that the Tariqa al-Muridiyya is now led by the 8th successor of its founder, Shaykh Ahmad Bamba, and not the 3rd as you told in your story. I would like to remind you that God Almighty said in the Holy Quran, إِن جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. So, before uttering such serious words, you must at least verify the veracity. Otherwise, you are now misled. My brother in Islam, know that all the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Bamba are scholars of Islam and fervent worshippers of God, referring to the Holy Quran and the Sunnah. This is what Shaykh Ahmad Bamba taught them and all his disciples. Shaykh Ahmad Bamba, the founder of the Tariqa al-Muridiyya, spent his entire life worshipping God and serving the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He always let us know that he was only a slave of God and servant of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Shaykh, Shaykh Ahmad Bamba, wrote so many books that no one knows how many books he left behind. They all include teaching our religion, our dear Islam, giving thanks to God, asking Him forgiveness, praising and praying upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I can give you some examples of their books he wrote. تزود الصغار إلى جنان الله ذي الأنهار، تزود الشبان إلى اتباع الملك الديان، جوهر النفيس في عقد نثر الأخضري الرئيس، نهج قضاء الحاج فيما من الأدب إليه المريد يحتاج، مسالك الجنان في جمع ما فرقه الديمان، مغالق النيران ومفاتح الجنان. In these books, the Sheikh teaches us الإيمان والإسلام والإحسان، سعادة الطلاب وراحة لطالب الإعراب. This book is a grammar book. جذب القلوب لعلام الغيوب، مواهب النافع في مدائح الشافع، مقدمة الأمداح في مزايا المفتاح. These books are أمداح النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is a drop in the ocean. Although very many, there are none in which you will find that Shaykh Ahmad Bamba considers himself other than a slave of God and servant of. So, my brother in Islam, I invite you to read at least those books if you are in love with knowledge, if you are eager for knowledge. You will be sure that a disciple of Shaykh Ahmad Bamba, much less his son, would not say such serious words you were telling in your story. A Shaykh exhorted not only his disciples but all Muslims to worship only Allah, while referring to the Quran and the Sunnah. Shaykh Ahmad Bamba said in one of his qasaid, meaning poems, Allahu Rabbi Ahadun Allahu As-Samadu alladhi huwa al-ilahu lam yalid Allahu wa laysa biwalad khalaqa kulla walidin wa ma walad la liwujudihi ibtidan wa la intiha mukhalifun wa dhu ghinan an ijtiha الملك والحمد لربي وحده كما له جل وعز الوحده هو الذي ليس له كفوا أحد ولسوى الضر يسوق من جحد. To summarize it in English, he said, God, my Lord, is one. And God is the eternal. God did not give birth and was not born. He created every parent and every child. There is no beginning or end to his existence. He is different from his creatures and is from desire. Sovereignty and praise belong to my Lord Allah. He is the one who has no equal. How can a disciple of Shaykh Ahmad Bamba learn these words and then say what you have told in your story? I don't know your purpose for saying such a thing. But what you need to know is that we are living in a world where it is more necessary than ever to unite Islamic Ummah, but not to divide it. I remind you that God says in the Holy Quran, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. So, we must not say or do anything that causes hatred between us. We must not say or do anything that causes division among us. We have the same God, the Almighty. We have the same Prophet, Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have the same book, which is the Holy Quran. So, my dear brother in Islam, we have together the same enemy, which is the enemy of Islam, which always seeks to weaken Muslims, which persecutes them and makes their lives difficult in certain places of the globe. So, we need more than ever to unite together and not to always remain in useless debates which divide us. I remind you the recommendations of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-Jama'atu Rahmah, community is the mercy. He also said, Al-Muslimu lil-Muslimi kal-Bunyan, yashuddu ba'duhu ba'da. The Muslim to the another Muslim is like a building. They must support one another. He also said, لا يحب أو لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. He also said, المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده. A Muslim is one from whose hand the Muslims are safe. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. ربنا اهدنا إلى الحق وإلى طريق مستقيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. والسلام عليكم
الحمد لله.
ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
MashaAllah, beautiful kind words from our Sheikh, again Sheikh Khadim Mbake, who gave a wonderful rad to an Arab guy. I think he says his Sheikh is Ben Buzz or something like that. Maybe he wanted to buzz, and like he said, they go all over Africa to teach people to live Sunnah. And if you come to the Muridiya and tell them to live Sunnah, is just plain ridiculous. That means you haven't learned who Serigne Touba is. If you understand the legacy of Serigne Touba, the achievement of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, once again the most prolific writer in the Islamic world, you're not gonna put forward some statements like that goes against reality is. And so thanks to Brother Khadim for your answer, and a beautiful, smart, intelligent one and it's happening all over the world. It's a challenge, like I said. But first, welcome again to Echo from Touba. If you just join us, this is your brother Fallugay again here on Lamfal Television. Thanks to everyone watching. Thanks to Sing Ali Chun. Thanks to Sing Ibrahim Magay, Sing Sadiq, all my crew here, Sohna Awa, and everyone contribute for the realization of this particular show. If you join Africa, you want to visit Touba, our city, please feel free to contact me. We have what we call Echo Travel and Accommodation. Put you in beautiful places, in beautiful hotels if you want here in Dakar, and facilities also in Touba. You get the opportunity to visit wonderful, exceptional city of Sheikh Ahmad al-Khadim, Asna al-Khadim, the best servant of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Muslim community have a huge opportunity, have a challenge actually to discover the legacy of Serigne Touba, the work of Serigne Touba. And I mean, as a Muslim, how we can go around and do dawah in the Islamic field itself. Maybe you have to do some nasiha of how to worship and stuff like that. But if you hit the core of the belief of the Muslim, is very sad. And if a Muslim brother get that jive from another brother, it really hurts. When you give statement like that on Serigne Touba, it's hard. And believe me, people call and ask about the Sheikh in the Muridiya, that means again people don't understand the work of Serigne Touba, and that goes back to what Sheikh Muntaha said. First, go acquire knowledge first, and then engage in learning, permeating the messages of Serigne Touba. If you heard the brother Sheikh Khadim, what he said to that, we call him kuffar because we can call him even mulhideen, but we call them those guys who don't understand, who don't know. And like he said I've got from a friend of mine who was in Africa, who told me that the third caliph, and the third caliph, if you know the name of the third caliph of the Muridiya, right there, you'll understand your statement is wrong, because the third caliph name is Abdul Ahad, the one who was only the one. His father said, Shaykh al-Khadim, Ya Allah, Ya Ahad, innaka samadu, Ya Rafi sama min khayri amadin, salli bihaqi qul huwa Allahu ahad ala wasilati nabiyika al-ahad. If you want to taste pure tawheed, come to the Murid order. Really. Not because I'm advocating that as a Murid. No. Come learn the teaching. Learn the life of the disciples who were with Serigne Touba. Who could the Africans, we have our, reality here. But if you learn the life of those disciples who were of Serigne Touba and get some stories, how they live their life, you'll understand that, Tawheed has its, thing here in Senegal, inshallah, alhamdulillah. So people are going around and say a lot of things. So it's an opportunity for us guys, like we have a lot of challenges of Bamba's Day or Hasidah Days all over the world. We have Hasidah Days recently in Mecca, in Medina. By again our friends here, Serigne Aliou Thioune, who went there, and Dawairs from Chess, I believe, they went to Mecca and Medina and had this beautiful Hasidah Days. Today actually is a Hasidah Days in Columbus, in Ohio. There was a Hasidah Day in Italy, in Brazil recently, in Africa here, in Benin, in Togo, I think we should take opportunities of these events and make some panels, have some interesting topics, and not to stay away a little bit from emotion. I think it's going to be hard though, because you know how we are, Murid, when we hear about the Sheikh. Even the name of the Sheikh itself has some kind of electricity in it. Once you hear Sheikh Al-Khadim, Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba as a disciple. But also, if you want a vehicle, if you want to permeate the message, we have a way of also doing it in a very smart way. Leave the people of knowledge, leave the people who really studied Serigne Touba, come to those panels and explain who Serigne Touba is. That is in Islam. There's no difference of Muridiya. Islam is al-Muridiya. That's how, remember when the Sheikh came back from exile, when they asked him, who were your disciple? He has to go in St. Louis and sign out the papers before they got him free. They had him free for a couple of months and then they got him again. So, but what he said, my disciples are those who said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he even in many statements, in many qasidas, he said, Hayati wa mamati wa sakanati ma Rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, I can blame many people who have certain ideas, limited understanding of Serigne Touba, because we as the community itself, we haven't gone on a certain degree of explaining and leaving the people who can do that, because there's a lot of scholars, luminaries in the community who I'm sure if they give them the opportunity, go and do that. Reciting Hasidas, that's what we should do. Learning the Quran, of course, that is, a pinnacle, a thing that is part of the Muridiya. But when we have the opportunity, if we go to America and we want to permeate the message, I don't understand why on those panels, those guys come and speak Wolof. I'm here speaking English a little bit, not for myself, but I'm trying to, get the message across for my brothers who don't understand and sisters who don't understand our language in Wolof. We can do that if you do that in Senegal. But if you go to Indiana, if you go to Vegas, if you go to Canada, and then you have many of these brothers and sisters who come to inquire about Serigne Touba, and for Allah's sake, you make those panels in Wolof. I don't understand it. Even when we go to the UN sometimes, we have a Bamba's Day, people gather in these big, areas to talk about Islam and Serigne Touba, and the panel, they select someone who speaks Wolof. And certainly it doesn't make sense in a way, but also we have to revise how we communicate with with our community. And on that matter, we should also understand that there's a legacy to preserve. Sharif Fantamadi, I believe, he has a museum he's building right now have all these turas, all these heritage, these items from Serigne Touba. Because like Serigne Mustafa Saliou, he used to say, Serigne Touba, there's nothing more certain that the life of Serigne Touba, because it's right here. Serigne Saliou, his last son just passed away in 2007, not long ago, 1428. There's people who saw Serigne Touba, who lived with us not long ago. We have his books here. They will take you and show you this is the compound where Serigne Touba used to live. This is his suitcase. This is his clothing. This is his shoe. This is his heart. This is his maktume. All these are like something you can hold your hand to. There's nothing that can be more certain that the life of Serigne Touba. That is the reason why it is very nice also. I mean, it is actually someone or primordial that we have a museum also to have that terrace put together. There's a beautiful one done in Jurbel. Right now, if you go to the compound of Serigne Touba, you have a place where you have all these items that are collected there. Then when you visit Jurbel, you can see them. If you go also to Darul Khudus, there's many. And every other place where the Sheikh has his shuyukhs there, you'll find relics of Serigne Touba. So if I believe, and Serigne Muntaqa gave this organization a place to build the museum inside the complex of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. Wonderful idea. So if you study, you can step in that museum and have it up close. These relics of Serigne Touba. So it's a beautiful thing, and how important it is. How it's something that is time. We're going to listen to our third video, some suggestions from our brother in the US that tell us how important a museum is and how we should go around to have that realization in Touba, inshallah. Let's listen to the third video, inshallah.
I'm here trying to have an idea of any suggestions we can have from you as the expert, I would say, in these museum issues. In Senegal, we are trying to put together a museum for Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, and we will need to have just an insight of someone who's so into the museum institutions as the Smithsonian institution as you are. And we want to know any recommendation you would just put forth as far as which way to look into that museum project for Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba in Senegal, in Jurbel. So what are your insights? What do you think as first steps in terms of how to go about it that you think might be very useful getting into this, in line with the project?
Okay. The first thing you need to do is to create a timeline of Bamba's life, the influences on his life, the different places he lives, and the different places he has an impact on. Because when he leaves Senegal and goes to Gabon and back, he makes converts all along the way who continue to be part of the Murid community. So the timeline is first. Then you need to make an inventory of all of the things that you have about him. And then an inventory of things that you know that you do not have, that other people or other institutions have that you may be able to borrow.
Yes.
Remember that when you're doing a museum, you don't show everything that you have.
Okay.
You have to rotate things, and you have to show some textiles, for example, which are delicate, you can only show for 3 months or 6 months, and then you must replace them. So if you have clothing of Bambas, you can't leave it out for a year.
Yeah.
You have to have something for 3 months and then something else for 3 months. So your cases have to be able to open and close so that you can change the artifact.
Makes sense.
So you have the timeline and the inventory, and then a wish list of things that you would like to have but you do not have. There may be French official documents, for example, when Bamba is exiled.
Yeah.
There may be documents in the French colonial record
That's true.
that you may not be able to have, but you may need to make a facsimile or a copy of those because they had an impact on Bamba.
Absolutely. I agree.
He's part of the newspaper age, so there must be newspaper articles about him, both in France and in different parts of Africa.
Yep.
I would suggest that you approach this as a history museum
Yes.
and a culture museum because there's a culture around Bamba.
Bamba. Yeah.
all of the paintings that are done of him, the way he's represented on the outside of buses and car rapide.
Absolutely.
So you need to photograph how he's part of Senegalese society. And then there must be music inspired by Bamba.
Absolutely.
There's songs inspired by Bamba.
Yep.
There's probably poetry inspired
Poetry,
by
yeah,
Bamba.
that's true.
So think of all the different kind of cultural expressions of the past and of the present, and leave yourself the opportunity that Bamba is going to continue to have an influence
Indeed.
in the future. So your story is not over, even though he's not living.
Yeah.
The story continues. Like this museum, the story's not over.
That's true.
So we have to continue to collect, continue to interview.
That's right.
Now he has an influence not only on Murids, but on Senegalese society, beyond Murids, beyond the Muslim community.
Absolutely. That's true.
And so he becomes a historical figure. So that I explained when we were in Paris, at Versailles, there were Murids selling things.
Wow.
And the Americans wouldn't know who Murids are. And I had to explain to them
That's true.
in Paris that these are Senegalese men from one sect within Islam within Senegal.
Wow. You got to say all of that story.
But I had to tell the Americans who these men are and that they live together. They're not working for themselves, they're working for the Murid community. And that the money is going to the Murid community. It's not for them to go and buy things. It's for their community.
That's true. Very good.
So I think you have to explain Bamba in the context of Muridism, which is a financial system, it's a land system. I think you need to look at Touba as his birthplace, but then what Touba came to represent within Senegal in the 60s and 70s compared to Touba now.
That's true. Very much,
You need to film the Magal and interview people who are coming from the United States, people who are coming from Europe, people coming from other parts of Africa.
That's right.
To the Magal. Why are they coming? Do they come every year, or do they come on the years that they can afford to come? And involve young people in this entire process, because I knew you when you were younger. But now there are people younger than you.
Absolutely.
And we need to involve them in this project, because when you retire and I retire, we need young people who are as knowledgeable as you are about this museum, who could continue the work afterwards.
Absolutely.
So those are my initial thoughts. The next time we meet, I'll add you some more.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate it. And you've been in Senegal too, so you speak Wolof.
Beautiful answer from our American brother here. Gave his thoughts, how he explained the importance of museum, how we should have a timeline, how we should, there's a lot, photography, even he said music, books, poetry, that's going to be available in a museum built here in Touba, in the University of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, hopefully. So good luck to the Sheikh Fanta Madi and those who help him for the building of that particular museum here in Touba. So that was our topics today. Again, we talked about Junnatun Liman Nazamahu of the project of Serigne Muntaqa building the housing, the houses for the sinisters of the flooding of Touba. It's been a great help. May Allah really give him a long life, help him all the way through, mashallah. And also our second topic again was Sheikh Ahmad Al-Khadim, who gave an answer to the wrong statement that Sheikh or that guy from Saudi Arabia said about our beloved Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. And last also we had again, some ideas, insight for a museum that is planned to be built here in Touba. That's Echo from Touba again, your brother Fallugay. Thank you for following again. Again, if you want to visit and you want to be part of the show, inshallah, you can subscribe on my channel on YouTube or give him a message on Echo from Touba on Facebook. Appreciate it, and we'll be willing also to have you as a guest here on Echo from Touba. Until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. Jërëjëf Serigne Touba. Jaarama Mame Cheikh Ibrahima Fall. Thank you.